Testing. Do let me know when you can hear me, but hello. Aha, Whammer's here. Hello, Whammer. Or you all can come out of the woodwork now. Well, I'd say hello, Mike, but you're on mute, so fuck you, Mike. Aries. Franca's here. The gang's all here. Beautiful. Yeah, what can I say? I'm just very cool. Give people a minute or so to drop in. Yeah. Oh, pals. Feels like, well, it has been over a week since the league finished, which is why, as is tradition, I've forgotten fucking everything about last season just in time to spend an hour recapping it. But I'm sure it'll be fine. Hello, Johannes. I don't know how many we're actually expecting. Should at least be a Pingu somewhere in some form, but I don't know if we'll hear from him. Oh, I'm inclined to get this going in a moment. Yeah, we excited to draft, ready for a brand new cycle. Everyone getting hyped. Yeah. Alright, well, that'll do. I can't be asked to sit around for too much longer. I'll get going. Oh, Remco's in the chat. Hey, Remco. Pals, are the glasses too much? Are they a bit much? Yeah, let's just get rid. Hang on. Yeah, that's better. Okay, let's get started. So, welcome to the Globbies. It's the Gobshite Awards that we do for Gobshite. Globbies. I've in case you hadn't noticed, pals, I am operating on so little sleep. It's unbelievable, and I'm not really words today. But we'll make it through. Anyway, so it's the Globbies. We do awards. Season 21. That's loads of them, innit? We'll carry on. Here, as you can see, are a collection of images. I would say most of which are wildly outdated at this point. Yeah, it's quite bad. But hey, they're pretty. Winner, of course, of season 21, Ospatos, Reese's second triumph in the Gobshite League. A fact that should shake all of us to our cores. But it happened, and we have to respect it. So well done to the Ducks, who I'm sure will in no way be rewarded in the next few minutes by more praise. Little recap of the table. Ended up being it was almost a close battle for a while, but yeah, very much a good win in the end for the Ducks. Looked quite in control. But yeah, the Kips put on a good late run. The Elves looked like they were going to be, runaway winners for a while. Somehow, Los Ethos and the Kips were involved in the title race. Maychester, technically are third, but I don't think anyone ever believed, did they? Come on now, be serious. Sirs, top of the bottom. Wow, words. Once again, surreal. 14 points, better than some of their attempts, but a comfortable last place for Surreal Napoleon. And crucially, Chitesse, their Karim Benzema's team, finishing below 2 gimmick teams. So that's lovely. Now I clicked through this a couple of times because I had to set a bunch of traps so you wouldn't be spoiled on the results of the first award, which is going to be, of course, Team of the Season. Now, sometimes this award goes to a team that didn't win the league, but that's not often, and the Ducks were the best team this year. That's just how it goes, and you're going to have to accept it. So a big win for the Ducks. Yeah, a really fun team, actually. Like, just a bunch of slightly unusual choices of players playing out their minds, having a great time. Real world Florian Wirtz, Olivier Giroud, Matteo Darmian. Incredible scenes. Let's go ahead to a perhaps less surprising award. More surprising. I don't fucking know. God, I'm tired. DOF of the season. It's Reece. See, I got you. It's not that surprising. It's the winning team's DOF. Look, you drafted well. You got rewarded. It was really cool to see. Yeah, it was just a fun team. But shouts out to Stefan and Dave and Franca as well for reasons. I actually have no idea whether... Well, I know why Stefan got nominated because Stefan voted in the ballot. Dave, I guess, for a good gimmick, good performance for the gimmick. And Franca... Oh, Franca's just good at the game, isn't he? I could check who voted for you, Franca, but I can't be asked. So, there's that. Reece did. That was a mistake. What a weirdo. Alright, carrying on. Manager of the season. Now, this was a much harder choice for a lot of people. Yeah, shouts out for Pioli and Fonseca, both of whom I definitely remember who they managed. Joe Gomes got a shout. Igor Tudor for Newcastle, who, inexplicably, made them look less like a completely incoherently drafted mess than they were. Still kind of like one, but just less than they were. A lot of points for Jordi Cruyff here, who was in charge of someone, I remember. Was that the Kips? It's probably the Kips, wasn't it? Yeah, what business are the Kips have doing so well? Jordi Cruyff. Wow, crikey, well done. But unfortunately, it is yet another win for the Ducks because Jorge Jesus, he won the league, and sometimes when that happens, people vote for you. So yeah, big result for him. And if you say anything interesting in chat, no, good. Piolo was Ecos? Oh, that's weird. I guess they did better than they should have done. I think Manager of the Season is the award people give the of the year for. That is probably more true than not. But hey, well done to Jorge Jesus. That is 3 Ducks awards in a row. Will it continue with Player of the Season? Of course it fucking will. Now I'm tempted to argue this is an upset. Big split between Florian Wirtz and Olivier Giroud for the choice here. Both of them absolutely excellent. It is Giroud who takes it. Truly a banner year. Like he's had good seasons in Gobshite, Giroud, but this was peak Giroud. Just as an astonishing number of goals at several points during the season. More goals for Giroud than for Chitesse. Incredible. And yeah, very much the focal point of the attack for the Ducks. Wirtz, though, the real boy, hitting that ridiculous PA cap, the big roll, just an incredible vindication of the real boy system. That's absolutely running the show. Both of them exceptional years, and it's hard to argue with either of them. And it's particularly fun to see Giroud win it, frankly. But shouts out for the likes of Erling Haaland, who scored a bunch of goals, Ansu Fati, who was there, Dane Scarlett, who finally showed up a little bit to justify 3 years of total failure, Moises Caicedo at the BBC for some reason, and Joe Gomes. Lovely to see him get a mention. I'm just going to do what the thing on the screen says and move my face over here so that you can see graphics. Because now it's time to go into the team of the season. And that starts, I presume, with goalkeeper. Yeah, it does. Look at me remembering things. Plenty of good choices for this, by which I mean nobody that I could remember being particularly good in any way, shape or form. And I guess the people who made the shortlist were, in fact, good. I trust what I was given. But apparently a bunch of you thought Emi Martinez from Los Hijos was the right choice. So well done for him. All those goals he didn't concede, or otherwise, not sure. How many goals did they concede? I'm actually going to check. Bear with me, because that seems like a fascinating thing I should find out. I remember who conceded the fewest goals as a team, and by I remember, I mean I remember that I checked and have now forgotten. But I will tell you that. I'm looking at the wrong tab. You know what? It doesn't matter. Emmy won the Restat Award. There you go. That's a reason, presumably. Must matter to somebody. God, I was there. I had it. Oh, that was when I looked up. It was fewest losses. Fewest losses was the stat I looked up, and I forgot even that. That was the Alps, by the way. And that was Donnarumma, who does get a vote. But Providel also with a shout out. I saw a couple of good moments for him. Ask your doctor if Providel is right for you. Hell's Bells for Sirs also got a mention for that ridiculous goal difference that Sirs picked up between them. A very strange season for Sirs. Lots of massive wins and lots of draws. Okay, so Martinez, first name of the team here. We spent too long on that. Let's go to right back of the season. Now, this was not a difficult decision because this is an iconic player for their team, playing out of their mind in a title-winning season, far better than they had any right to be, and just legit the best right back of the season. Matteo Darmian, take a bow. Incredible performance. He'll probably never do it again. But Reece James, whoever he played for this season, got a word as well. KCC? Could have been KCC. Who's to say? Doesn't matter anymore. It's in the past. Darmian, that's the only thing we need to take from this. Our first duck on the score sheet for team of the season. Next up, centre-backs. Plenty of disagreement over here. Nobody could settle on who they thought was the best, by which I mean we do have a clear first and second place. It's Ruben Dias from Chips and Powell from the Ducks, but lots of people got multiple votes here. Almost everyone on the list was a viable candidate. Robin de Norman got a vote. Saliba and Amondi once again splitting the vote from the Pythons. Both were good and both getting each other's way for Team of the Season nomination. That's the kind of coordination that you like to see between your centre-backs. Van Dijk, Akanji, Araujo and George all getting a mention, but it's Diaz and Torres who get to have their little names on the graphic, so that's good for them. Let's move on to left back, and that was a much clearer decision than centre back because Alejandro Balde was vocally talked about as a player of the season for a long time. It's easy to remember that when you've forgotten everything else that's happened in the season. The Manchester youngster absolutely tore it up down the left. Was one of the best players of the season just generally, and comfortably wormed his way into team of the season here. David Alaba might have been good. I put it to you that you don't even know whether David Alaba was good. People who voted for him, I don't think you know. I don't think anyone knows how well David Alaba did, but he sure is a name you recognise as being good. Couple of votes too for Bukayo Saka, the winger, who was forced to play at left wing back because Pingu is out of control. But did pretty well at it because he's Bukayo Saka. Um, it was very funny, but Balde, the clear choice here, gets his name in Team of the Season. Let's move on to the midfield, shall we? Central midfield. Well, this was a very fun ballot because every single person voted for Florian Wirtz and one other person. So unanimously, Wirtz does make it into Team of the Season. That might be the first time we've had that for a central midfielder at the Globbies. Quite fun to see. But plenty of options for the second spot. Xavi Simons also was one of the bigger candidates for that. Had some really eye-catching performances for the Kips. A big part of their push up the table towards the end of the season. Just misses out on the place to Eduardo Camavinga at the Elves. Just a sensational year. A big part of their title challenge. Really reliable for them in a kind of understated way, but not so understated that people didn't notice it. So well done to him. But Barilla, Palinia, Rainho, and Paint Trophy all got to mention. Fair play to them. Absolutely no sign of Rodri and Rice, but here we are. Well done to Wirtz and Camavinga. Let's go on to the wings. On the left, it's another duck. It's Rafael Lau. Perhaps not the most important component of the Ducks' attack between Wirtz and Giroud, but a very relevant one nonetheless. Very popular answer here. That is our fourth Duck on the team sheet. Vinicius from, I want to say, Manchester, ran it close. Big year for him. Gakpo and Coman both getting mentions, but back in the team of the year for Rafael Lau. Loves a big season every now and then. Joins his teammate in the midfield here. On the right though, welcome back to team of the year, Lionel Messi. Happens all the time. It's just really good. The shining light of the Elves title challenge. Once again proving what an important team player he is. Huge year for Messi once again. Comfortably makes it into team of the year. But multiple votes for the likes of Angel Di Maria, who I think was at the Chips. Salah, who fuck knows where Salah played KCC. It can't be that important. Rodrigo de Paul, even less relevant. Literally, what did he do? I couldn't tell you. You couldn't either. Don't pretend. Jeffrey Weir got a shout out, I think, just for having 191 CA. Nobody in their right mind can seriously consider him the best right wing of the season, but he's here anyway. Wow, you're all about this, aren't you? Anyway, Messi won. That's the good news. Let's carry on to strikers. This was a little more divided than the central midfield roles, but still Giroud picked up a vote from almost everybody who voted. So does avoid the ignominy of player of the season not making it to team of the season. That was comfortable for him. And joining him on the team sheet is Big, who, as he often does, was kind of a almost overlooked part of a massive title challenge from a team who weren't, top at the start. So kind of came up by surprise. But look, most seasons he gets a shitload of goals, and he got a shitload of goals this season, and his team did really well because of it. So Big makes it into the team of the season, the second Kips player to do so. But definite shout outs to Kylian Mbappe, who got multiple votes for some reason, and Alexis Zumerez, who was actually a terrific year for him. Whenever he was scored, it looked like it was Alexis. So great work from him. Erling Haaland got a shitload of goals. Was he the outright top scorer in the end, or was it joint with somebody? Anyway, he got a shitload of goals because he's Erling Haaland. But he didn't win the league. His team didn't even get into the top 5. So, bin. Giroud and Big take the team of the season. Here you go. There's 5 Ducks. Possibly an overrepresentation individually, but a good representation of how much more coherent I think the Ducks were in their goodness throughout the season. Most teams had peaks and troughs. The Ducks were usually good, and that's kind of represented across the pitch here. Very well played. But yeah, two Chips, 2 Elves, a Maychester, and an ethos. Well done to all our winners. Haaland and Giroud tied the goat most. I thought so. Yes, big. 18 goals, several more votes than Alexis. That is sad. Oh well. Okay, let's move on to it's the Banter Awards next, right? Banter Awards? Yeah, Banter Goalkeeper, the Cobalt Prize for Shittricker. This was a comprehensive victory for, one of the easiest candidates we've ever seen. Immediately nominating himself right at the start of the season with an actual, genuine goal from goalkeeper Diogo Costa, the first goalkeeper to score a goal in the Globby League, and for a long time a serious contender to tie or beat Karim Benzema's goal tally. Incredible performance. It changed everything about the season immediately. We started obsessively watching corners, particularly for Kites. Anytime a late corner happened, suddenly a possibility that had previously been shut off to us was open, and the world was never the same again. Congratulations to Diogo Costa. Incredible performance. Did actually tie Benzema for outfield goals. That is a very important point. Thank you, Emma, for raising it. Just a true gobshite pioneer. He will be a legend. Go Gomes is here. Let's go to Banter Defender. A few names shouted out over here. Trent Alexander-Arnold. I'm sure there was a reason for that, but I don't know what it is. Bukayo Saka is a winger, presumably drafted to be good at being a winger, drafted into a wingerless formation, still somehow made it work. Gets a vote. Declan Rice, just extremely good for the Ducks all year, big part of their success. Joe Gomes, had another good year for whoever he played for, unless he didn't, I don't know. I trust there was a good reason for him being here. Jose Gaia, was he just shit? Was that what happened? I don't really recall. Was Gaia shit? He was probably shit. And George, superb work from George. Very funny and or bad, depending on which George we're talking about. But the winner, with 4 votes, it's Biscuits. It's Sergio Busquets. The defensive midfielder forced to become a full-time centre-back because Dave's BPA gimmick picked a 3 centre-back formation and 1 centre-back. Then made it into the top half, made it into the split, with Biscuits as a full-time centre-back. What a reinvention. You love to see it. Well done to Biscuits. Banter midfielder now. Again, plenty of suggestions here. Mantis Bequascus, whose name is spelled incorrectly here but is now correctly spelled on the website, was promoted into central midfield at points, I think, for the Piglets. Exciting new opportunity for him as a young defender turned midfielder. Tony Kroos is on this list. That's what I have to say about that. Biscuits, kind of a reverse of the defender nomination. I think somebody's misplaced their ballot a little bit here for maximum comedy value. Joe Gomes gets a shout. Paid trophy. Obviously by trade a central defender, but kind of became a central midfielder this season and I got nominated for central midfielder this season, was on the ballot for team of the season. So fair play to the lad, like to see it. But our comfortable winner here for central midfielder, for Banter central midfielder, it's George. So well done to George. All of them. I love them deeply. Perhaps not the last time we'll see some recognition for George in these categories. Let's go ahead to Banter Winger or Cam. And look, there's no real way to say this. Y'all couldn't decide shit about this. We get a shout out for Lil Greg, tiny little boy, flying up the wing, retraining fully as a winger. Joe Gomes, always nice to be nominated. Florian Wirtz, I mean, banter's a stretch. Just kind of the prophecy being fulfilled with regards to the epic real boy role. But it's just really good, pals. George gets a shout out here. Well done to them. We have a tie though for first place between Frederick Orsnes, who I think just kind of had a late cameo towards the end of the season with emergency winger situations, if I remember correctly, and Tiago Almada from Full Man, who, while being part of a gimmick team, was actually genuinely good and like made people ask questions all season. Should we actually be drafting this person in season 22? We'll find out soon. But more kind of fair play than like lol ha ha. So I find both of these nominations lacking in banter. So I'm going to break the tie by throwing the award into the bin and asking everyone to try harder next season. This is a no award, despite getting more than one vote for these things. Tough shit. We carry on to banter striker. Now look, we vote for Karim Benzema a lot for this award. He sponsors the award for a reason. He is a man who has proved time and time again that he's almost completely unsalvageable in a gobshite context. But this truly was plumbing new depths for shititude. It's really hard to overstate how much Benzema, and as a consequence, Chites sank like a stone. This was a season where Benzema was in genuine competition for the goal scoring stakes with a goalkeeper. His own goalkeeper was, his team were always better when he was injured. Just comically awful, and does walk away with the Banter Striker Award once again, despite some excellent competition from the Weatherman in particular, Sebastian Quates even, Jesus Christ, who was promoted to a full-time striker at Cyril Napoleon for some reason. It just became clear as soon as the change of regime happened there mid-season that he was just there to stay as a striker. Just one massive lad. That was a lot of fun. A couple of shouts for Giroud as well. I guess for just kind of being a sort of much of a surprise as he was. Like, obviously, his actual season was not in a way laughable, but it was delightful, and there is that angle to it. But Benzema does take the comfortable win here. Whenever you think there doesn't need to be any more evidence, there it sits. Truly an incredible achievement in being Karim Benzema this season, so well done to him. Let's go ahead to Banter Manager. Lots of suggestions here, as usual. Fernando Santos was in charge of somebody and was bad at it, I guess, probably. Not sure, can't have been that important. Sebastian it's like Becca Keke or something. I can't see it, so I can't remember it. Maybe it's that. Anyway, he was nominated for Annoying Franca specifically. The Weatherman Go-Guy is Sebastian Coates because he's wearing several jackets. It's cold out. Michael van der Graag is on the list. I can't remember who he was in charge of. Probably a Dutch person's team, if I had to guess. Chites? Maybe Chites. I don't know. Was Santos? No, Fernandez was Chites. Somebody. Anyway, they're all shit. Diego Simeone, nobody knows who he was in charge of either. Look, we should have done this a week ago, but I didn't have time. George gets a shout out for taking charge of George. Really cooking up over there, well done. And Joe Gomes makes an appearance as well. But the winner is Michael Carrick, who took over from Cyril Napoleon, filling the leadership void left by Frank Lampard, and immediately set about putting a centre-back up front on a permanent basis. He's a surprising out-of-control figure, is Michael Carrick. So well done to him, takes the Banter Manager award. What's got next? Banter Team, of course. Now we've got a couple of options on the periphery here. Newcastle for just kind of being a shambling mess of a team that somehow didn't completely fuck it. Ospatos, that seems cruel, but it was a lot of fun to watch them all season. The BBC took on a hilarious gimmick of just Singaporeing it up in full, and did, surprisingly well, or perhaps not, depending on how you view the gimmick. Go Gomes also gets a shout out, but our two main contenders here very much dominated for different reasons. One of them for being just a nexus of shititude, a throbbing void of badness, and one of them for being the greatest football team ever put together. But it does go to George in the end. Weasels, a team composed entirely of people called George, finished higher than a team containing, a 180 CA striker. So I rest my case. I am in fact history's greatest football player, and team. So I'll take that. Thank you very much. Next up, gimmick of the season. If you hadn't gotten a sense from the previous vote as to how this might go, that is a win for George. Because you see, it was a team full of people called George, right? You get it. It was funny. But yes, there we go. That's another win for me. Thank you very much. Joe Gomes gets a shout out here. Newcastle's wingers. They're drafting multiple good wingers and not actually being able to field any of them properly, apart from Saka out of position. That was a delightful mess. But a couple of seriously excellent contenders as well. Player/referee. Lots of referees named, after players on the kids team, deciding often in the favour of the kids team particularly, was delightful. So thanks to the likes of Coach One for their work on all parts of the stadium this year, helping the Piglets to finish above, for example, I don't know, Chites. And goalkeepers at corners. It was a focus for much of the year. As soon as Costa scored, it changed everything, and we were obsessively watching those injury time opportunities for the goalkeeper to come up. It never happened again, but we are never going to view that in the same way again. So, great work to those particular gimmicks, but it's George that takes it here. What do we got next? Surprise of the season. Plenty of options here. So obviously, people's interpretation of the Surprise of the Season award is always different. One, for example, for Joe Gomes, I'm not convinced would be an obvious candidate for this, but has still been nominated. Both Chips and Ethos making actual genuine title challenges, definitely worth mentioning, because that shouldn't happen. Science says it can't happen. Incredible. The Donna Summer assist, that would have been a nice thing to bring up. It's a shame nobody did. Diego Costa gets a shout for being a goalkeeper who scored a goal. Don't imagine any of us had that on our bingo cards. Giacomo Jacinto, I guess, just being good, finally getting some game time. You love to see it. His enormous normalness at striker just took over the role eventually for the Pythons, despite Callum Wilson having had a pretty damn good year for most of the time. Big Norm retrained as a striker and looks like he ought to be great at it. But we have a tie here between the Ducks just being as good as they were, so much better than the rest of the field overall, and the Weatherman at striker. I am going to hand this over to the Weatherman because I think in a lot of other seasons that would have been an easy banter striker award, but it's hard to come up against Benzema in that kind of form. So we'll break the tie in favour of the Weatherman, who deserves something out of this evening. Hello to Pingu. Nice to see you here. You've missed most of the fun, but you can scroll back and enjoy it afterwards. Let's go ahead now to whatever the next award is. Disappointment of the season. Oh boy, were there choices here. You'll see some weird numbers on the percentages here because somebody submitted a three-way tie vote between three different things that I couldn't be asked to disqualify. But lots of suggestions here. Go Gomes gets a shout out. Must try harder. Go. Maychester fucked it again. Only third place. What a mess. Karim Benzema, it bears repeating, was extremely bad at football this year. Los Hijos, I think that might have been from Tom. Marcal had a pretty good season for the Piglets, but never gained a single point of CA and will remain difficult to fit into future teams as a result. So that's kind of frustrating. Now look, mathematically, I think we can agree Brigstock Bigcocks were the disappointment of the season, and if we're committing to the gimmick as we should, they're a shoe-in for this award. But yeah, they drafted the best team on paper and they completely fucked it. Only barely made the split. But we have shouts as well for KCC, I guess for kind of not being as good as they should have been, and Tiki Taka Toa. Now we did sort of think this might have been the coming of the great TTT team, the carefully curated arsenal of incredible young players, ever since that unorthodox approach to season one of the cycle 4 seasons ago. But it didn't quite materialise into the TTT team we all wanted to see. So yeah, an understandable vote here for disappointment. But the overall winner of this disputed award, much and more. Got to go super early again in the draft order. Got Erling Haaland back. Saw him score a bucket load of goals. Came 6th. Never in any serious danger of winning the title. Fair play. You fucked it. I look forward to you getting first again in a few minutes' time and repeating all the same errors. I think we're left with rivalry next, aren't we? Yes, it is. And I mean, look, there's a reason why we had an entire vote here for All a Bit Too Nice this season, isn't it? Because we had very few rivalries between teams. Even the Echos Foxes rivalry has calmed down a bit due to the Foxes being completely irrelevant this season, and Echos actually making the split for a change. We do get a shout for Joe Gomes versus his internal monologue, and a very, very reasonable shout for Newt. I'm excited to find out what new combinations we're going to get next season. There's four new 3-letter acronyms enter the rotation for matchup computational purposes. We do have a vote for Benzema versus Chates, for that ongoing struggle between a team trying to do well and a striker who desperately will not accept that. But obviously a majority of votes here went for the red-hot competition between Benzema and Diogo Costa. Firstly for being the Chates' top scorer for a long time, and then later just for outscoring each other. We do have our new team names, Franca, which will be introduced to you very shortly. But I've got the tab open so I can read them for you now. Our 4 new entrants. Actually, no, I'll do that. There's a point we can do that later in the awards. I'll cover them shortly. Let's finish our awards first. But yeah, Benzema versus Diogo Costa. A very clear narrative thread throughout the season. No, only 2 of them are confirmed. That's fine. Whatever. Some of them were so specific, that I assumed they must be on purpose. But I should have realised you have too much time on your hands. Do we have any awards left? I'm not certain we do. Special mentions. See, here we are already at the end. But a lovely shout out to the admins and to the new people. Yes, as we say, 4 new entries to the Golfshite League next season, going to have a bigger season. They were very excited about that. George. Yeah, that's all. Remco would legit have done better if Karim Benzema had retired in pre-season. How did he find a way to get even worse than the trap pick he already was? No fucking idea, but it truly it cannot be repeated enough what a gigantic mistake it is on an ongoing basis for anyone to draft Karim Benzema. The Sirs goal difference in not making the split, just just beautiful. Um, yeah, the Sirs were the team to worry after in the early stage of the season. They were putting 5 and 6 past fucking everyone, um, except when they weren't and they were drawing 0-0. Yeah, their goal difference was absurd, but they still couldn't make the split. What a bizarre team. Nicky is just drawn to top of bottom split. It is his one true calling in life. But a shout out to the Piglets, the kids team that took some of our up and coming hopefuls and made a fun team out of them. Yeah, banner year for the likes of Rainier, Jacinto, and in some ways Marcal. A word to Joe Gomes. I'm glad we got somewhere for him to make an appearance in the awards tonight. And a mystery person complaining about a striker scoring 24 goals and only finishing 6th. Can't imagine who that would have been, but I hope you feel better soon. All that's left to do now is to look ahead to season 22, which is about to start. We are about to welcome 4 new teams for a massive 26 team season. So Crawford Hotspur FC will be entering the fray, shepherded by an actual offspring of an existing DOF, which is going to be fun and immediately a delightful opportunity for a DOF to draft themselves, because that wouldn't in any way be passe. Nobody's done that before. We have Mike taking charge of Tesco Carabag. We'll have to find a new name for the TTT DOF because I'm fully on board with forcibly displacing him from the name Mike. But welcome Crawford and Mike, and we have Liam and Robbie who are also getting involved, and they will confirm their team names hopefully pretty fucking soon because we're getting started. The only thing I have left to do is to show you where we're going to be playing in season 22. So get out your sun hats and your bikinis because we're heading to sunny Fiji. Yes, that's right. We're making another attempt to go Pacific with this tiny Polynesian nation. So I'm looking forward to seeing you there very, very soon. It's time to hop over to Discord where Whammer is going to spin some wheels and we'll get the draft going in earnest. Thank you for joining me.